Hello and welcome to this channel, and if you are the first time here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button to see the latest technology videos. In this video we are discussing about Java server pages. So standard actions, JSP include. So the JSP include action allows a static or dynamic resource specified by a URL to be included in the current JSP at a request processing time. So syntax is JSP include page relative URL flush equal to true, and JSP include page relative URL flush equal to true. JSP param name, parameter name and value equal to parameter value, and JSP include. So an included page has access to only the JSP writer object, and it cannot set cookies or headers. So a request time exception will be thrown if this is attempted, and this constraint is equivalent to that imposed on javax.servlet.requestDispatches include method, which is what servlets use if they want to do this type of inclusion. So there is an attribute called flush that determines whether the page buffer is flushed prior to the inclusion, and once the buffer has been flushed, it's no longer possible to forward to another resource in the web application. So prior to JSP version 1.2, flush is required and the mandatory value is true, and JSP version 1.2 and later default flush is to false, and so flush can be optional. Then a JSP include action may have one or more JSP param tags in its body, providing additional name value pairs, and the included pages can access the original request object, which will contain both the original parameters and the new parameters specified using the JSP param tag. And if the parameter names are same, the old values are kept intact, but the new values take precedence over the existing values. For example, if the request has a parameter param1 equal to my value 1, and a parameter like param1 equal to my value 2 is specified in the JSP param tag, the request received in the second JSP will have param1 equal to my value 2, my value 1. So the augmented attributes can be extracted from the request using the getParameter string name method in the javax.servlet.http servlet request interface. So include directive versus include action. Include type directive, syntax @include file name equal to file name, done when compilation time, and included content is static and parsed by container. And include type action, JSP include page equal to file name, request processing time, static or dynamic, and not parsed but included in place. So use the include directive if the resource is not going to change frequently, and use the include action if the resource is frequently changing or is dynamic. So the include directive must be used at compilation time to include static contents, and the container parses the content. Typically a resource included with the include directive will be included on multiple JSP pages, and this may be something such as a header or footer file. However, if the resource changes, then the including page needs to be recompiled, and this is typically a function of how small the JSP container that is using and whether it knows timestamps have changed and files need to be recompiled. The inclusion is into the current value of O. So when using the JSP include action, you can include both static and dynamic content at the request time, and the content isn't passed but is included in line to the JSP page. The resulting JSP is then translated. So this was a brief discussion on Java server pages, and we'll be discussing more on Java in the upcoming videos. And if you are the first time here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button to see the latest technology videos. Thank you for watching this video. Bye for now.